Hello everybody and welcome back to another DC Comics review session. My name is Joker alongside my partner in crime.
Splash or Alec. What's up, guys?
And so Comic-Con's been going on and we've gotten a lot of footage of some new DC stuff. We have the new Titans TV show coming out for their stream service along with Aquaman and Shazam. Today we thought it'd be appropriate to play some Injustice 2 and talk about all those things, see what we liked, what we didn't like, and just see what's happening with the DCU right now. So I think first thing we should talk about should be Titans. That was the first thing we saw on Friday.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
There's a lot that I'm not super happy about, but I'm not completely disappointed by that first trailer. I think it does have some promise, and I think we can. We've got a decent foundation to work with.
I forgot half the controls of this game.
Yeah, I did. That was fun. But it did leave a lot to be desired as far as some of the costume design goes. Not super happy with it. The Robin stuff with the murder and not being true to the Dick Grayson character. I don't know. I'm hesitant to hate on it because I think it could just be a fresh direction for a character that we've had for a long time and we're all kind of familiar with. Like, everyone's pretty accustomed to what Dick Grayson should be like, and I think the reason we're seeing such a backlash for that in particular is because people don't like leaving their comfort zone, and it's a DC product, so naturally everyone's skeptical.
That's fair. First time I watched it, I had to say I thought it was complete trash. Like, I thought it was the worst concept ever. Like, it looked like nothing like I thought it would. The whole concept of the character, Raven looked terrible. I don't know what's going on with Starfire's attire. Didn't see much of Beast Boy, so I really don't have many comments on that. I also did not see a lot of Hawk and Dove either.
Yeah.
I was very pleased with the look of Robin, but the whole fuck Batman thing, I need more context. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be a complete, I don't think it should be there at all. Damn you for blocking that. I will say, I've watched it about 8 or 9 times, and the more I watch it, ooh, this is cool. The more I watch it, the more I'm kind of like, okay, maybe I should watch it just to, give it a try and whatnot. That's badass. To those of you watching, I just bought all the DLC characters, so I haven't seen any of these special attacks yet. So that was pretty dope. Oh god, no!
There we go.
Oh, you hate to see it.
But yeah, I think DC has done a lot of things right as far as the TV programming goes, so I'm pretty lax on that. I think that even though I have questions, I don't like everything that I saw, I have at least some confidence in them to handle things correctly, and I think getting the feedback that they've gotten from this first trailer will be pretty important to them, like riding the ship, getting it back where it needs to be.
I was gonna say, because if it ties in with the DCU as is, since it's through their own streaming service, so they have more of a freedom to do that, I think it'll make a little bit more sense playing in. Like Robin has that line. He says, you don't I have no idea what I've become or something like that. And I'm wondering if him killing all those people is trying to get back at Batman, not so much because he hates him, but more so because his idea of justice for right now is more so get rid of the characters, get rid of all the villains and all that permanently, so they don't have to come back again. So his idea of justice is a lot different than what it used to be when he was with Batman.
Yeah, and if that is the case, that may be the reason we haven't seen such a wide variety of DC villains on the big screen yet. We've only seen kind of this one chain as far as the main movies go, and then Suicide Squad, these guys were all already locked up, which we've seen as a kind of a product of the other heroes in the universe. So
I do think if we wait a little bit, maybe it'll actually turn out to be something good. Like I said, I did not like Starfire's attire. I think her costume design is very poor. But I think if it's just like you mentioned, a discovery of the powers thing, and maybe, they're going to get better costumes later on. Robin obviously already has one because he was with Batman for years. But I mean, Raven and Starfire, and I know, like you said, I don't think they're going to have Raven running around in fishnets, but I don't think she should be running around in a cheap, Fruit of the Loom hoodie.
Yeah.
Every time I've heard that.
And like I said, this does look like an origin story, and the reason I haven't really hated on Starfire's outfit yet is we don't have any context for it. We don't know why she's wearing that, and so that may change some things for me. I know people dislike her powers being just fire and not the green bolts and lasers and
I don't
stuff.
like the fire.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but like I said, we haven't had any reasoning why things are this way. So I'm just skeptical right now. More of where is the story going, and are we going to get explanations for the stuff that we haven't necessarily liked so far?
I really don't know how to use this. It won't let my character move. Great, man.
Yeah, if we get like logical, good storytelling reasons that they're not, you know, necessarily the way we thought they would be, then I'll be okay with it. But until then, yeah, I do think people are perfectly like legitimized in asking, like, why is Raven kind of this scared girl who seems to have no idea what her powers stem from or why? And if like, we've kind of seen, you know, on TV, we've already seen Raven go through that in the animated show, so we know what it could look like or what it should look like. But maybe in this universe, things are different. Like, clearly Dick Grayson's different.
Yeah. I was going to say, they kind of accidentally recreated Jason Todd. I'm terrible at this game.
I don't even know what I was doing half the time. I was
I'm
I'm
just button mashing. I bet the audio for this game is going to be fucking great.
So yeah, if we get a good story reason as to why Raven is not, like, even remotely familiar with what she can do, why Starfire is a regular human being, or so it looks like.
Why she's just a regular chick, yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I can accept that. But there's definitely a need to clarify some of that stuff. And, I mean, I'd imagine that's where it's headed. But people questioning what DC has done on the big screen are not so, you know, forgiving as I am, because I've been in love with most of the DC stuff for a long time. Not necessarily super happy with what's happening in the major movies, but I do think there's room to get it right, and I think that this could be part of them getting it right if they take the time to do those things, to explain and give us plausible, logical reasons as to why Dick has kind of taken this bad turn.
No more Martha subplots.
Yeah, please, absolutely not. How that got past the first stage of writing
is beyond me.
I am honestly just mind blown.
But today we got a lot of trailers today, and the one that came out, I think everyone wasn't really expecting as much as some, was the new Shazam trailer, which I didn't know what to expect from it because I don't really know the character at all. Like I've said before, I know he's like a knockoff of Superman, sort of, and he has a big role to play with Black Adam. But I thought the trailer was absolutely hysterical. I think I'd say it's a turn in the right direction as far as like what DC needs to be doing to like add some like range to their characters as far as like design and like, you know, tone. So I just think the whole thing was like awesome. It kind of felt like Big, like the Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah. And it got light. Like what we saw in the trailer was not like super dark and gritty like what we saw in like maybe BVS or something.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. People have been asking for them, the DC movies, to look a little more like what we've seen in Marvel, with a little more humor, and make these superheroes, not everything has to be dire, like, terrible situations. And I think that's what we're getting in this movie. It's the first attempt, other than maybe Suicide Squad, to add a little bit of lightheartedness to what's happening in this universe.
I am curious to know, like, what city it takes place in, and, like, how far is it from, like, you know, Gotham and Metropolis, because, you know, like, that kid's got a batarang. He's got a bunch of newspaper clippings from, like, Superman and all, like, superhero, like, appearances and all that stuff. Yeah. So, like, I want to know, like, how excited is he to have these powers, and is he, like, really wanting to get involved in the Justice League in some form of, like, fashion? Just because, you know, he's got, like, hey, guys, check this out. You know, I collect all this stuff, and now I'm a superhero, and I'm, like, 13 years old.
But, yeah, I think this is a really good start for adding a new dynamic. I think the Flash movie will do that as well to some degree, because we did get a little bit of, like, weird silliness from the Flash and, like, him meeting Bruce for the first time. Black Manta. And so I think that between those two movies, that may be the, like, Thor-esque or, like, the Guardians kind of movies where they have serious plots in them, but in their core, like, part of what makes them work is that they are humorous and more relatable than just the regular, everyday superhero,
and
supervillain.
I think it kind of helps for DC's argument. No, they're like, you know, yes, you can take kids to this movie because you can see it's a fun, it's a friendly movie. I think it's going to be kind of like Solo. How I said Solo was just a very fun movie, and you know, like I would really like to have more to say on the whole idea of Shazam, but I just don't know enough about the character. I can say that I think the casting worked out pretty well. Like, I'm not disappointed with it. I don't really know the actor that well.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, like, he seems to really fit the role and actually looks like he's having a good time while he's playing the character. You know, like, hey, I'm a superhero. Like, that is definitely something I would be doing. Oh, no.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
Shit. That's some deadly stuff, man.
I didn't think I'd like Black Manta that much. That's actually really fun.
And I guess that can be our next topic. We can hop right into the whole fantastic trailer that is Aquaman.
Yeah, I've really been riding hard for this movie because I like James Wan as a director a whole lot.
James Wan is fantastic.
And I like Aquaman at his core a lot. I used to not be a huge fan as a kid, but because I constantly like made fun of the character or the concept of the character, I accidentally kind of got into like watching watching videos and stuff of people who knew more about the character than I did, and suddenly found myself like actually interested in some of the story arcs because of the way other people were talking about what was going on, and I was like, well, I guess I got to get into it now, like, unfortunately. And then found out that I actually really did enjoy the whole story and this idea of the underwater struggle and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The family dynamic of the story, and yeah, it's all... I'm super interested to see what actually comes out of this movie. Like, we have a loose idea of where it's going now because of the trailer. But we did only see, you know...
Ow.
I don't remember how long the trailer was, but it felt a little limited. I want more explanation as to like why they were jumping out of the helicopter or whatever. At the end there.
Yeah, the plane, the cargo plane.
Yeah,
there.
the cargo plane.
You know, I don't think we're gonna get. We might get like one more trailer, but I don't expect to see a whole lot more since the movie does come out like in December.
Yeah, I don't expect to get too much out of this. Or we might get like one more, you know, close to release promo trailer, but I'm excited. I think it generally looks like a more family-friendly DC movie, which is good for...
I mean, sure, he doesn't have a shirt on, but I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah. I'm not really too worried about that.
You took your kids to go see Moana, don't be complaining.
What is it? If Maui didn't do it, I don't understand why Jason Momoa would. I've had such good expectations for the movie for so long now that I am genuinely like excited to see what we're gonna get.
What even? Just take me. just do it.
I
am of defeat.
Because I have been looking forward to the movie for so long, seeing that trailer was really a kind of a burden off the shoulders kind of thing. It was like, okay, I've long thought that this would be the first movie to really like put them back on the right path. I mean, Wonder Woman did a great job, don't get me wrong. But after Justice League, I immediately thought, I think they're going to turn it around a little bit and really start building that world and giving us a reason to care about the characters. Now that, one, they have a fantastic director at the helm, somebody that's not really a part of your regular superhero directing pool.
He's more of like a horror film director with like supernatural stuff, like The Conjuring and Annabelle and all that good stuff.
Yeah, somebody who's clearly here for the story and not necessarily super involved in the other side. Like he's a comic book fan or whatever, but he's not a regular comic book director or producer or anything like that. This is his first foray into it, and a guy that has told great stories before. I think that's the right way to do it. I think Marvel found a good, laid the blueprint for that with like Taika Waititi, and I've ever since Ragnarok and with Wonder Woman with Patty Jenkins, these other directors stepping in and taking chances on superhero movies is what I've wanted to see. People coming from other sides of filmmaking. And I'm super happy that DC is on that train and has taken their product that way and not just relying on Zack Snyder or Joss Whedon or whatever. These super involved characters in the comic book side of things.
Right.
People who are always around the process. It's not a horrible thing. You need guys like that to give you some kind of scope or explanation, or it kind of lead the way a little bit.
Otherwise, every movie would look the same.
And even then, just to lay you down like a blueprint of some sort. Like, get guys who know what they're doing that can make a good comic book movie, but don't be afraid to take chances on people who can just make a good movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the genre was heading for a little while there, unfortunately, where it was just a pool of 10 or 15 people that were being considered or skipped over for every movie, and I'm glad to see that we've kind of popped out of that trend with like the Russo brothers as huge. With their job with the Winter Soldier, for example, and now Infinity War. Like, you can see that these other people can handle these stories and really deliver something dynamic, and you don't just have to rely on the same, like I said, 10 or 15 names.
Yeah. I think I really want people to actually okay, that's cool. Give the movie a chance. Just because when you look at it, everyone's dissing DC so much now, and I know a lot of it is just coming from just people that want it to fail, and I don't see why. Just because Marvel got it right, and they've kept it going for a good 10 years now. And now, DC's trying to establish themselves and have their own universe as well. It's just, they're having a real rocky start. I mean, Marvel also had its fair share of, some hit and miss stuff with their movies as it went on. Most of it was good, yes, but I mean, you gotta think, there's only 4 movies out right now that are in the DC universe, so you gotta give them a break and just let the movies kind of happen, It's like with anything, you don't start with, you don't start being the greatest. You gotta learn what to do and what not to do and kind of work your way from there. So I'm thinking that hopefully, when this movie comes out, it'll shut down a lot of people that are constantly hating on this movie. And even now, this trailer comes out and I got people telling me that they hate it because the CGI looks cheap. That makes no sense to me. I mean, if you look at the underwater realm that they have, it looks incredible. I don't see any part of that looks cheap when you know that Warner Brothers put a lot of money into this movie.
I do think there is a big portion that just want to see it go down because they're not DC fans, or they just like this ability to keep kicking on the same company.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Man of Steel is a solid movie. Wonder Woman is a solid movie. It looks like Aquaman and Shazam will be good. I think personally that Batman vs. Superman had a lot of potential, and the full cut of the movie is honestly really good.
The full 3-hour cut is incredible. Once again, I think Martha was probably the best plotline ever.
Yeah, I mean, clearly that just really sold.
Honestly,
the movie
it makes absolutely. I see what they were going for with it. I do, but it flatlined. The delivery was pointless. It made no sense. Well, I can see why they would pick it, but the idea, the second idea they had, could not have been that bad that they had to go with Martha.
Exactly. I think that when you stumble on that idea, whether you're a writer or whoever pitched that, they were like, oh, that could be kind of cool. And then you shoot it and you're like, at least in my eyes, because in my opinion, it completely flatlined the movie. It took it in a weird direction.
Yeah. I
think it completely threw off the entire balance of the movie. And I just don't see a world where somebody was like, okay, let's put this down. Let's actually record this.
Yeah.
And then, put it together in the dailies. And I don't see how even one person thought, wow, that came out really well.
Yeah, for real, because even sure, Suicide Squad kind of went weird, but I still enjoy the movie from time to time. And Justice League, everyone hates on it so much because the character development is so poor, and the reason I'm pretty sure that is because you try to shove a bunch of brand new characters into a movie that was limited to time. I'm pretty sure it's still supposed to be a 2-part film. Not necessarily called a 2-part film, but there's another part to it that's coming out, and I think 2021, I think is what they've said. I might be wrong on that. But Justice League is a good movie. It's a fun movie. You get to see all these new characters in action. Ezra Miller as the Flash is going to be great. I don't know what Flashpoint's going to be about, but if they keep Ben Affleck, they can actually truly do Flashpoint, and I'd be interested in seeing it.
I need to watch Justice League again to have a solid opinion on it, because I was very, very intoxicated the first time I watched it.
Trying to watch it tonight?
Actually, yeah.
Alright, cool. I got the trailer.
And I honestly didn't dislike the movie, but like I said, again, intoxicated, wasn't really critically thinking about it at all, was just watching and being completely entertained. And that's okay. Like, that's kind of what I was looking for out of that team-up movie anyway. I don't need every comic book superhero team-up to be Infinity War. I don't need it to be a tear-jerking,
yeah, I don't need it to be a
emotional
let's
event.
kill half the cast movie.
Yeah, like, it's fine if it is just its own, like secluded, not connected storyline necessarily to the other solo films. But yeah, bring it in, like, give it some explanation, let it be based, don't let their experiences, just be ignored. But in the next solo film, I don't need it to be, like, dealing with the repercussions of half the team dying. That's not, like, it's fine. People didn't like the mother boxes, cool. They didn't like the villain. Apparently, Superman had a weird mustache thing going on. I don't know. I was hammered. I really do not remember.
Honestly, the as many times as I have watched Batman or Justice League trying to really look for the CGI mustache thing, can't find it. Yeah, he was playing like a detective in another movie that his character had a mustache, so he couldn't shave it.
Yeah, it's
so
for the Mission Impossible Fallout, I think.
Yeah. I didn't see a problem with it. I didn't notice anything weird about it. I wasn't necessarily looking at his mouth the whole time, so I was more concerned about, hey, where's the black suit Superman? That's what I'm looking to see.
Yeah, like I said, I don't remember it being a bad movie. I do, thinking back on it, I do understand the ideas of, people did say it looked, or it felt like it was maybe, it felt like it was filmed at a bunch of different times or a bunch of different locations.
Yeah.
And then they were just smashed together, and I guess I get that. I can only loosely picture it in my head, to be honest. But I can understand where the tone may not have been the same all the way through, and that put people off. But again, it would take another full watch of that movie for me to have, like, a solidified opinion on it.
Yeah. Overall, though, with what was shown, what we know of the DC Universe, and what was shown at Comic-Con this weekend, a lot of great things. I'm happy for, we didn't really talk about it, but Season 3 of Young Justice is coming out.
Yes.
I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'll probably watch the show. It looks
Real
good.
excited about
It's got Nightwing, my favorite character in all of history. So, but that'll be all for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments down below if you'd like to see us beat the shit out of each other some more in Injustice 2, or if you'd like to see anything else. And do not forget to leave a comment and talk about the DC Universe. What you think, what you like, what you don't like, and what did you see at Comic-Con that you really enjoyed, or if there's something you wish they had shown instead. But until then, and as always, we will see you guys next time.